Andrew Tinkler.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries, man.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I've
Yeah.
been looking forward to this.
Nice, the same, to be fair. We've kind of messaging back and forth, haven't we? And
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to it. Thanks you, firstly, for inviting me to your home.
Anytime,
Lovely,
honestly.
lovely home. But again, at the beginning, with all my guests, I like to go back to their childhood.
Yeah.
So tell us about your childhood and what was it like for you growing up?
I had a good childhood. I'd say mum and dad were always around. Two brothers were always around. So we're always quite tight-knit, family-orientated. I haven't not necessarily a big family, but we had good times with the family. Parents were strict, but at the time, I kind of, as children, you don't really see why they're doing this and why they're doing that. So they brought me up well. I can't complain. I didn't go without, I went on nice holidays. They did what they could to get by, and I think that's important that you respect that. I kind of started rebelling maybe when I was 14, 15. They kind of pushed me to necessarily do things I didn't really want to do, after school clubs, play instruments, stuff like that. And then that's when I kind of rebelled and were like, well, I'm not doing this. And I kind of started causing a bit of trouble.
So what did that look like when you were sort of rebelling?
I kind of just started, I was like, I'm doing what I want. I would play up in school, but didn't care. I kind of was the classic teenager of not thinking about the my actions not leading to responsibilities. It was, I'll do it now and then maybe I'll think about it later on. And obviously, well, as we know, every action has a reaction.
Of course.
And my parents would, they would discipline me in the right way. And I feel like that's when I kind of felt like I didn't have the freedom to kind of maybe do certain sports or join certain clubs. But at the time, you can't see why they're doing it. But over a period of time, you understand why they kind of wanted you a certain way.
Nice. So who would you say was your sort of role model growing up?
Probably my nan.
Yeah?
Yeah. My nan kind of looked after me a lot. My dad was kind of working away a lot. My mum would work shift work. So my nan was kind of, I'd say she was kind of like my second mum growing up. But she was just my superhero until the day she passed. Like, there's nothing that can kind of get past her or she wouldn't do for people. She was just a kind, caring lady who always give back to the community, always helping out at the community, local events. She was part of a local church. So, any kind of, she still in her 80s, she was singing and line dancing and swimming.
I love that.
So it was kind of, she was definitely the one person I know I could go to for everything. And I remember just spending a lot of quality time with my nan, had taken me on day trips and doing things like that. So definitely, probably my nan was definitely my hero.
Yeah, I love that. Because in my experience of what I found, nans generally are quite sometimes the cornerstones of families. So whereas, let's say in my own family, what we call our black nan, kind of when she died, everyone sort of stopped sort of getting together at her house. And then my partner, kind of a little bit similar, whereas we used to have or they would have on like regular sort of family gatherings at the house, but then after she passed, it's kind of like, not that it sort of stopped, but it kind of dwindled a little bit. And it's kind of like, I do think sort of nans
feel like they're like the matriarch of the family.
Definitely.
And because my other grandparents passed away when I was like in my teens, and I was just left with my nan, it kind of like, she kind of matured me, do you know what I mean? And she'd run me here, there and everywhere, any clubs or anything like that. She'd always be there on hand. If any time of the day I needed her, she'd be there, kind of thing.
Nice. So then in your teens, then you started to rebel. Kind of when you sort of left school, what kind of happened then?
I just used to hang around in like an area, not a gang. Maybe nowadays it'd have been seen as a gang. But at the point in time, it was kind of, they were my mates.
Just a group of mates.
Just a group of mates. We weren't, most like most teenagers, we'd kind of run, get chased from the police and things like that. But we weren't, we'd always respect the elders and where we hung out and where we chilled. If there was any elderly around or people or kids, we'd always respect them and kind of wouldn't stand in the way. We weren't intimidating. They were just my boys as such, we used to get up to mischief, but who didn't? Went to college, kind of fell into that kind of trap, but I didn't really know what I was kind of doing. All I wanted to do was kind of not really do a lot. I kind of just wanted to chill and, hang around with them all day. And like I say, we didn't really cause trouble, but as we got older, obviously things changed and kind of, there was certain incidents and certain things happened, but that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, like what kind of incidents?
Just like getting in trouble with the police.
Yeah.
Not like anything major, but just little things, breaking into abandoned buildings, that kind of thing. Letting off smoke bombs in shops, and just a general cheeky kind of, not trying to mean to cause harm or mean to cause havoc, just thinking it was funny at the time.
Yeah, we used to do things all the time. We sort of, again, break into abandoned buildings and play tracking, or the stink bombs. We'd sort of wait at a bus stop sometimes and then stop the bus, and then someone just chucks on a stink bomb and we'd just do one. Or we used to do something called, we'd call it get a chase.
Yeah.
We'd do something where the police would try and come and get us, and then as soon as we seen the police, that's it, then we was off.
And the thing is, where we hung out was like a rat race as such. There were so many different alleyways and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that you knew you'd wait for them to turn up, and then you wait last second, and then you'd run from them. You just get a buzz from it.
Yeah.
You would literally just get a buzz for it, and you wouldn't really care what you were doing at the time. You kind of living carefree at that point in time. You really are.
Because what we used to do as kids sometimes was, and I look back now as an adult and sort of think, if someone done that to me or my house, I'd be devastated. We used to smash car windows, smash house windows, bus stops and telephone boxes, at least back in the day when there was more around.
Yeah.
I'm not so bothered about that. If it's in a smash up bus stop now, I'd be like, oh, whatever, I don't care. But then we'd sort of break people's windows and house windows, and I sort of think, something to my house now, I'd be devastated.
Yeah, you would be.
I think it's actually quite bad, things like that. But then again,
but
I feel kids, he's young and stupid.
That was a different era, like nowadays there's that. Okay, you don't see much of that, but there's more violence involved. That's the problem, Like kids nowadays aren't. And I say it to my children, they're not as streetwise as me. They're not as savvy as what we were. We don't have that. Like you get in trouble. There's no weapons involved. There's nothing like that. It's if you get in trouble with someone else, you kind of had your fisticuffs as such. And that was it. It was dealt with, walked away. Kids nowadays, they're drawn into so much so quick.
Yeah. And
they don't know what they're getting themselves into. And I think that's half the problem. Whereas kind of I knew where I stood, I knew what I was about, and I knew it wasn't going to lead to any kind of big criminal activity.
Yeah, totally agree. I think we was the same. Kind of, again, I've got a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, an 8-year-old. And I think probably when I was 8, I was probably knocking about the streets, sort of playing football in the streets or riding my bike around to, the block. And whereas if my 8-year-old said, can I go out with my mates and ride my bike around the block? I'm like, no chance.
Yeah, and I think that's the sad world we live in now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. I mean, where I live, obviously, is nice. It's a close, and there is young families, and it's great. And you've kind of got to give them that sense of freedom. But nowadays, it's not like back in the day when my mum would say to me, don't come back to the streetlights, and you'd be able to walk into your mate's house without the door being locked and things like that. And I feel like it's sad because I can't allow my children to do that. I mean, I've got a park 5 minutes down the road from me, and my 2 eldest boys, that my middle lad's just started going by himself. That was a very big in and ahhing. And it's sad how we have to think like that as parents.
Yeah, so true. Because I do think sort of the sense of community is gone, hasn't it? Whereas they sort of say now, you might know the neighbours either side, but then sometimes you kind of don't know the people 10 houses down, 5 houses down up the road, around the corner. Whereas back in the day, you sort of knew them by name, and kind of your kids could go there, or we could go there as kids, and then they could come here and things like that.
And that was the great thing. Everyone knew everyone, Like everyone was, and also if you were out and got in trouble, someone would know your mum down the line, and you wouldn't be able to get away with it, That's that. And that, like you say, that I feel like that community's gone, but then a lot comes down to the lack of community centres, the lack of things for the youth to do today. And I think that's what it comes down to. If you gave them more space and more recreational activities and more things like this, and actually the councils actually invested money in the youth, how they should do, the crime wouldn't be as high. But because they have nothing to do and they're bored, they cause trouble. Because that's what they want to do. But you take that away from them, you have people go and speak to them, actually understand them, and get them in one place and actually understanding, what do you want? Well, how can we help you? Why are we not helping them? Because they're the next generation. We're so quick to kind of, tarnish them with the same brush. Or you're wearing a hoodie, you're looking this way, you're hanging outside McDonald's, you're this, But do we actually give that 5 minutes to actually speak to them and actually get to know them and see what they want and what would they want from the community and how we can give back to them?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of invest in the youth, and then today, and then it kind of supports tomorrow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I do think as well, kids spend too much time on devices and Xboxes, PlayStations, and it kind of just fries your brain, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But also, that's the catch-22. I think with them, they go out, they might get, something might happen, they might get into trouble. But then you're moaning they're staying in. But if they're staying in, you know where they are. So for parents, it is a catch-22.
Yeah.
Like I said, you wouldn't want your little one riding around the block. I wouldn't want my little girl riding around the block. But she loves being outside, which is fine. But then at the same point in time, it's like, well, you let them out. It's playing on your mind 24/7. But if they're in the house, they're on. So it really is a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, definitely. Because as well, when we was kids, there wasn't that sort of awareness of sort of sexual predators and whatnot. It's just a case of I'm just going around the corner with my friends, wherever they are. And then, whereas now, us as parents and our kids with devices or whoever it is, you can read the news, just lying in bed and sit on your settee, kind of thinking, oh my God, there's predators around the corner. There's been this and that up and down the road and up around the corner. And then you kind of think, nah, I don't want to do that for kids.
And that's the sad reality. You're sending your kids to the park, there's people standing there and you don't know, and you don't want to think like that. It's like judging someone, right? As humans, we don't want to judge, but we do. Yeah, we can't help it. It's a natural thing. Yeah. You don't want to it's like, we'll move on to that in a little bit. It's about like people in addiction and stuff. And how they're perceived in the news, how they're perceived on movies is not how it is in real life.
Absolutely. Yeah. So according to that then, what would you say is your biggest adversity today?
What do you mean adversity?
In terms of like, your biggest struggle or your bit of a shit time?
I think I've got over my shit time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I say this to everyone, I was 29 months sober on Saturday.
Nice, congratulations.
From alcohol. But every day I struggle. Every day you have to tell yourself, I need to stay sober. I need to stay sober. And I feel like a lot of people, when they start their journey, for me, I always say just take it 24 hours at a time.
Yeah.
Tick off 24 hours. Start ticking off those 24 hours. And that's literally all you can do, because people might be 10 years. People might be 50 years. People might be 2 weeks. But the struggle is still real. It's like, it's funny because I always say the end goal is always the same, but your recovery journey is different.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So some people choose many different ways to recover. So there's AA, there's CA, there's counseling, there's podcasts, there's going to your doctor, there's seeking help, and there's groups that you can go to. Whereas me, I just kind of did it on my own.
Yeah.
No kind of support, no kind of CAA, anything like that. I had a guy called, there's a guy called Dapper Laughs, Daniel O'Reilly. He does a podcast called Menace to Sobriety. And he used to bring one out every Friday.
Dapper Laughs?
Yeah.
Is that the black geezer who's sort of like...
No, it's the white geezer that started did all like the Vines and stuff like that.
Oh, I have to look at him now.
Yeah, he does a podcast called Menace to Sobriety. And I tell you what, every Friday it used to come out. So I used to think, right, if I can get to Friday, I can listen to his podcast. And that kind of was, right, get to Friday, get to Friday. And he does it well. I do comment a lot on his things and whatever, but he really helped me get through where I am today.
Nice.
He's really pushed me through. And he has this charity called MATE, which is Men and Their Emotions.
Yeah, okay.
And he's a massive adverse for that. He just done a big concert at the O2 Indigo the other Friday with celebrities and stuff like that. So he is Mr. Adversity when it comes to men's mental health.
Yeah. Love that.
And he's got this Facebook page set up, and I don't know how many followers he's got, so I don't want to quote things. But I know it's grown and grown and grown, and there's men on there and I think this is great, that you're all struggling, but you can speak to someone and you can relate to someone.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the big adversities for men nowadays.
Absolutely.
The fact is they don't know where to turn to, because we're seeing, if you look back, and I mention this quite a lot, we're cavemen, big, strong cavemen. We don't break, we don't have any emotions, we're not allowed to have that. And that's how society sometimes sees us as men.
Yeah.
And I think that's a massive thing that all men struggle with. But for me, if I'm having a bad day, a sad day, an off day, I'll talk about it. I'm not afraid to share how I feel. Whereas when I drank, the drinking used to cover a lot of that up.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. When you drink, it's at the time it's great because you're forgetting everything. But the next day it comes back even worse.
Yeah.
Because you've got I used to call it hangxiety. You don't want to do anything. You've got no motivation. Everything's gone out the window. And that's a 3-4 day thing. That's not just a 1 day thing. That lasts for 3 or 4 days. And that's the sad thing. And also when you're drinking, you get this spike. So it's like a 20-minute endorphin rush. So after 20 minutes, you need another pint. And it's constantly, you're high and you're low, you're high and you're low, you're high and you're low. It's no good for your brain.
Yeah, and then I suppose then you're kind of concentrating that sort of
you're
high,
chasing that high constantly all the time. And then obviously that then turns into, right, I've had 4 or 5 pints, right, I now need to get the bag, you know, and then you get on the bag. And then next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're in some random person's kitchen. You don't know who they are, but you don't care. You're getting phone calls from your loved ones, you're getting messages, but you're thinking how I used to think was, leave me alone. I deserve this. I'm not doing any harm to anyone.
That's it.
I don't care. Like, and then you're ringing me and you're having a go at me all the time, but I'm not, you're not thinking about anyone else. You're thinking about yourself. And you lose all self-control. You literally lose all self-control. You lose lack of time. You know, you just don't care. You have this I don't care attitude until the next day. And the next day hits and you wake up and you think, I don't want to look at my phone. I don't want to look at my bank account. I don't want to look at photos. I don't want to check my messages. You know, you want the world to swallow you up and you don't want to be here anymore. And I didn't used to drink every day. But when I drank, I had no control. So like they say, you know, one's too many, 1,000's not enough.
Yes. And I kind of, when I heard that, again, I've never been an alcoholic or not any form of addict, but in terms of what I've seen, it kind of in my head, it makes so much sense. Makes so much sense to me in my head.
And the problem is, if you're in, say, a pub environment, and someone's drunk, well, because of the way we are, we think that's acceptable. We don't know if they're struggling with mental health, or you have a regular drinker. Because I worked in hospitality for years, so I saw regular drinkers, and I think that's kind of what brought on my addiction. The finished work as a chef. Oh God, I need a couple of pints. I need a couple of pints. You know, it starts off like that, and my addiction probably got bad. Probably so I'm 35 now, so probably 26, when I was about 26, 27, that's when it started getting bad.
When did you start drinking?
Well, I've been drinking since I was like 16. You know, started off in the park with your mates, you know, such and such, you know, house parties, that kind of thing, the Lambrine, you know, etc., etc. You know, I was drinking from 14, 15, 16. I started drinking, not a lot, but I was drinking parties, and then you obviously turn 18. It's great, but then when we grew up, you had all your £12 free bars, you have your cheap drinks, you had your cheap nights out, you had this, you had that. And, you know, when you turn 18, I'm 18, you're going out all the time. Ultimately, you don't, you know, I wouldn't say I had a problem with it then. I was just young and...
Just a novelty as well, isn't it? I'm allowed in the pubs and clubs, so I'm going to go.
Exactly. And then I wouldn't really say, like I say, I used to have a few drinks and whatnot, and I'd go mad a few times a month or whatever, but nothing crazy. And like I say, when I turned about 26, that's when it started getting bad. Like, I'd use it as an excuse. Like, if I had a good day at work, oh, I need 4 cans. If I had this, I need that. If I had this. And the problem is, if I bought 8, I wouldn't think, oh, I'll save a few for tomorrow. No, I was drinking them all. In my head, I was getting through them all. Because I deserved it, right? Like, I'd worked all week. Like, I'd rack up tabs of £100 and stuff like this in pubs, and I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care, because that's me. That's my time. And you don't think you're an addict. And even my partner, you know, near the end of me kind of, what am I, nearly 2.5 years sober now, but near the end of it, she'd be like, you got a problem, you got a problem. And so many times, you know, you wake up, right, that's it, I'm never drinking again, I've had enough. And that lasts a week, and then you fall back into that trap again, you know, and it just gets out of control. And then obviously lockdown happened. I just used that as one big party. Drinking every day. On a Friday, I'd meet up with my mate and I'd drink way too many. But again, I wouldn't care. But I didn't see myself as an addict. I ain't got a problem. What are you on about?
I'm enjoying it. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I ain't got a problem. I ain't got a problem. And then it was the 26th of February 2023. I'd been on it the night before. Man United had just played Newcastle in the League Cup and won. So I'd been in the pub all day, and the mate was like, oh, come back to mine, watch the box. So I went back to his. I didn't get home till 3 odd in the morning. Didn't have my house key. I had to wake my partner up at the time, which is my wife, to come down and let me in. Next day, she got up, took the kids to school, went to work. I didn't get out of bed till about 11:30. I came down, I slummed on that chair for another hour and a half, and then I don't know what happened, but I just got up from that chair and I looked myself in the mirror. I said, Andrew, you need to sort your shit out.
Yeah.
This is getting ridiculous now. Look at you. Look at the state of you. So I remember messaging my wife that evening going, right, I've had enough. I've stopped. She went, I want to believe you, but I can't. Which is fair enough. You know, I'd said it before. And that was it. That was the turning point for me. And I said, I'm never, ever, I can't go back to who I was. And I kind of started learning things about myself that I kind of was blinded by. But like I say, a lot of it was the environment I was working in. I was in hospitality. It's a stressful job, you know. It's got a lot of pressure. You're head chef. You've got to keep a standard, and it's the company you keep.
Yeah, of course.
As well, and you soon learn when you go sober that they were just associates, because I don't speak to one of them people I used to drink with now. Yeah, no one. Your circle goes from, say, a big globe to a ping pong ball.
Yeah,
but then those people inside that, the people inside that ping pong ball, well, they're your true friends. They're your number ones, you know. They're the people that matter the most. But you feel like there's a lot of things you go through when you kind of go through sobriety. So you instantly think, well, I'm not going to have a social life. I'm not going to be able to have fun anymore. I'm not going to have any friends anymore. What am I going to do on a Friday? What am I going to do on a Saturday? What are my weekends going to look like? And all these questions, they slowly, over a period of time. So once you get through the first 2 weeks, you kind of realize you're sleeping better, you're eating better, your skin feels better, your mental health slowly starts to improve. And you think, okay, this is all right. But when I originally stopped, I thought I'd do it for about 4 weeks and then everyone will kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
Then I get back. Now I got to a month and I thought, okay, I've done a month. And it was when I got to 100 days, I was like, I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
Give you that sense of achievement as well, isn't it?
Because we had to figure out what was triggering it. So for ages, I wouldn't drink zero alcohol. I was like, no, I don't want to drink it. I don't want to drink it in case it triggers me.
Yeah.
And then I tried some and I was like, okay, no, this ain't triggering me. I've realized that I like the taste, just don't like what it does to me.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't, you know, I accept the fact that I can never drink again because of who it made me, who I was.
Yeah.
You know, and what it made me do.
Yeah.
It's the biggest legal drug in the world. That's the problem. It's the biggest legal drug in the world. And because it's legal, people think, well, it's okay then.
Yeah.
It's okay to act a certain way. It's okay to have that. It's okay to drink this much. It's okay to do that. And I never put pressure on people because, you know, I've got a TikTok with nearly 5,000 followers now, and a lot, you know, sometimes I get questions, or why are you forcing people to stop? I'm not forcing you to stop.
Yeah.
I'm not forcing anyone to do anything they don't want to. I set up my TikTok page with the aim if even the thing is, I look back on videos now. When I first started TikTok, I was still drinking, but I was saying things and saying, come on guys, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. But I wasn't practicing what I was preaching.
Yeah.
I was kind of saying it, but not doing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you get, you know, you're going to get these keyboard warriors, this, that, and the other. Why don't you just have one? Why don't you just have one? Right. Well, one was the problem.
Yeah, that's it.
One was the initial problem.
And that's people talking who don't understand. Yeah.
And but I think a stat the other day, don't quote me on it, but I think it was 43% of 18 to 34-year-olds no longer drink because they've seen what it's done to the older generation.
Yeah.
And I think they should just keep taxing it and eventually people just won't be able to afford it.
Yeah, because I think you're spot on there. We sort of say it's the sort of the worst sort of legal drug, whereas I just call it sort of the devil's suit because it's a case of you're allowed to go to a pub and drink and this and the other. Well, actually, the amount it sort of breaks up families and kind of causes damage to people, it's kind of just crazy, isn't it?
It's unreal. Like the amount of money it costs the NHS every year because of people with open addiction to alcohol. The amount of, you know, fights it causes, like you say, it breaks families up because it suppresses you. Like that's why it's called spirit, because it takes your spirit. It literally takes your spirit with you, and it suppresses everything. So if I had a problem or if something went bad, if I drunk for that evening or for whenever, I could forget about it. I didn't care. I didn't care about it. And then I used to get really, really bad anxiety. I still get a bit of it now, but it's a lot more controlled. I used to get really bad anxiety. I used to just think, well, that's just me. That's just who I am. It's got nothing to do with the amount I'm drinking or what I'm doing or my lifestyle. It's just who I am. Because I used to think, well, I go to gym 3 days a week, so I'm allowed to drink as much as I want. Unfortunately, people, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. And like I say, since I've stopped, I still get the odd moment of anxiety. Everyone will.
Yeah,
but I can control a lot more. And it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's that sense of freedom now, knowing that this is who I'm supposed to be, and this is what I'm about. And it's horrible because you are selfish. You are very selfish, and you put your loved ones through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are still stood there and still stood by your side and still supporting you, no matter what you're doing. And you just become so obsessed with something that you just lose who you are as a person. You lose what life's about, and it's not just it's your kid. It's my kids that missed out a lot. You know, a lot of Saturdays where I'm just like, nah, leave me alone. I don't want to do
well, rough on the set kind of thing.
Or I get dragged to these events and I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm not, you know, I'm there, but I'm not there.
Yeah.
You know, and like I say, I didn't see I had an issue, but no one sees I had an issue until they stop.
Yeah, that's so true. But then you talk about the impacts, kind of like, even like when you were talking just or earlier, and you sort of said, just even losing or forgetting your house key.
Yeah.
The impact that can have, because you've gone out in the piss and I was a bit carefree and thought, my keys wherever it is. Then you've had to wake your missus up in the middle of the night to get you up. So then she's then had to sort of have broken sleep, so she's tired. Then does that affect how she's sort of parented the next day? Is it possible that the kids go to school late? And it just kind of snowballs, doesn't it?
It is. It's a big snowball effect. And again, it's horrible. It's horrible because now I think back and I many a times I can think, well, I ruined that. I messed that up.
Yeah.
Like, I was on it one night, Christmas Eve, and I didn't get back in till stupid o'clock in the morning. And who suffers then? Well, I'm hanging all day, so you ain't getting anything out of me.
Yeah.
But it's the kids.
Yeah.
It's the kids that suffer because I've made a selfish. I've been selfish and taken things and done what I want to do. And it's like, that's the horrible thing about addiction. You are selfish. And the problem is people think, oh, I don't have a problem. And I say, well, on a Friday, where'd you go? Oh, I finish and I go straight to the pub. And then I spend Saturday at the pub. And then Sunday afternoon at the pub. Then I wake up Monday and I do the same thing. If you're living for Friday, you have an addiction. You have a problem.
Yeah.
If you're going to the pub after work and having, okay, some people have a glass of wine, or if you're just having a couple and then going home, that's cool. But if you're going to the pub on a Monday having 4 and 5, Tuesday 4 and 5, 6, Wednesday, and then getting some cans and then sitting, you have a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem. Whether you like to admit it or not, you have a problem. And addiction, it doesn't, you're not all tarnished with the same brush. You see an addict like a bit back to you on a film and stuff, they're raggedy, they're on the floor, they're this, that, the other. You could be working with an addict and you wouldn't even know it.
So true.
You wouldn't even know it. You think, oh, that's Dave or Sandra or whatever, and you wouldn't even know what they're doing or what they're up to. Because you're a functional addict.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. You're a functional addict. But because people don't see what goes on the outside, they just see you for that, I don't know, say 8 hours that you're at work. Oh yeah, have a nice time, and then straight away you're finished.
Yeah.
Addicts, you can't label anyone. Or you can't go down the street and point anyone out and say this person, that person, this person. You can't do that anymore.
No.
Because, and that's the problem, it's the devil on your shoulder and you're letting him in. And you're letting that devil in, and you're letting the devil win, and he's literally just going, one more is not going to harm. Come on, man. Like, come on, you're enjoying yourself. You deserve it, and you're just constantly listening to the devil, constantly thinking, well, okay, yeah, cool. Okay, oh, cool. And you've got shackles on you. You really are shackled to what you're doing. The amount of money I spent, the amount of this, the amount of that. It's horrible. It is a horrible thing. And I'm glad I can sit here today and say, I'm over 29 months sober now, and I just want to give,
as well.
I just want to give back to people, I'm a dad, I'm a family man and stuff like that. And I just want people to realize that there is support and help out there for it.
Yeah.
The NHS are so stretched with how they can deal with certain things, but now there's online groups and there's podcasts like we're doing now, and there's so much more help out there. But like I say, when I get messages of people and they say, oh, I'm struggling, I said, that's your first point.
Yeah.
You're making that first step because you're openly admitting that you have a problem.
Yes.
And once you openly admit you have a problem, it's out in the open.
You kind of open the door.
Slowly started opening that door to get where you need to be. You might be on the left-hand side of the path right now, and there might be a bridge coming up. And sometimes you have to repair that bridge. You have to repair that bridge and get over it. And you might not be where you want to be right now, But ultimately, if you're openly admitting something, whether it be your mental health, your physical health and addiction, you're openly admitting you have a problem. That's the first step to anything.
Yes.
You've then got to invest time in yourself. You've then got to take a step back from the lifestyle you did have and figure out, right, where am I going? What am I going to do about this? How am I going to sort this out? Because until you openly admit it, you will never get the help you need for it.
Yeah, so true. Do you know what I think when you said something earlier and I thought to myself, do you know what I think? And I think I've had it happen to me and I've also done it to friends. Whereas peer pressure, if I found you sort of said, come on, Andrew, you know, we're big Villa fans, me and my mates.
Yeah.
The Villa's on, we're going to go to the pub, or it's Villa Blues.
Yeah.
We're going to get up in the morning, go and have breakfast, and then that's it. Then we're on it all day.
Yeah.
And then all night, and then, like you say, you get on the bag or whatever else it is. But then, actually, sometimes, there's enough awareness of sort of each other, ourselves, and our sort of friendship groups to sort of think, actually, I'm going to call Andrew up. Can he be on it all day?
Yeah.
Or should I be calling Andrew up and sort of saying, right, a few of us are meeting, why don't you meet us after the game, or come and meet us for the game, and you can go back to the missus and kids.
Yeah.
Rather than be like, Andrew, come on, we're going to get it on all day, and if it goes off, and we're going to do this. Rather than actually thinking, no, Andrew can't do that, or David can't do that, because he just can't be on it all day.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's going to self-sabotage
everything
he's worked for.
But then it's like events, so also events in time, so weddings, birthdays, whatever it may be. You know an event's coming up. Yeah. You're not getting excited for the event or the people. You're getting excited because you can get on it.
Yeah.
And that's how you're thinking what everyone else is going to get on. They're not going to notice if I pushed a bit too far. But it's a wedding, man. It's cool. I'm going to blend in. There's no problem. There's no issue. And that's how you think. You don't think, oh, I'm going for a celebration. I'm going to celebrate a wonderful time. You know, they're going to have a great, I'm happy to be part of it. You're not thinking that.
Yeah.
You're thinking in your head how selfish you can be. And then the missus doesn't, then the missus can't drink and have a good time. Because I'm like, well, you can look after the kids. Why am I looking after them kind of thing? I want to get on it. Like, leave me alone. Again, it's big events and stuff that, you ruin or don't remember, or, they're talking about the next day. Or do you remember this moment? Do you remember such and such? And you can sit there going, yeah, but really you're like, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I was mangled in the corner by, 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I don't care.
And just an embarrassment for your family, then, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. And then people, as much as they won't, they'll remember that. They'll remember that. Or the next event, oh, you were that guy that did this and that. And you're like, oh no. So, yeah, it's just different now. It's so much different now. Like, I can go to the pub now. I go to the pub, not very rarely, probably twice a year. Definitely Christmas Eve, I always go to the pub.
Yeah.
I can go in, have my zeros, finish. After, when people start getting too much for me, spend a couple hours, I can just leave.
Yeah.
So I can still be around it. And a lot of people feel like, oh, well, he used to drink, so can I invite him to this? Will he be all right to invite to this? Is he going to be okay with this? How about you just speak to him and say, look, I'm having a party. There's going to be alcohol. There's going to be this. Like, are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And a lot of people are. But like, I went to a barbecue the other week, and I think this is just the way as a nation we think. You get there, there's beers in the fridge. There's this, there's that, and straight away it's like, it's turning into us getting on it. And it's like, that's not the aim of the celebration.
Mm-hmm.
But because that's just, you meet up socially. Let's go for a beer. Let's have a beer. It's not, do you want to go grab a coffee? Do you want to go to the gym? Do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to go for a run? Because it's socially weird. It's like people look at you strange when you start looking after yourself or start getting fit. They're like, look at that. What are they doing that for? But yet, if you're in a pub getting on it, people don't bat an eyelid.
Yeah.
You can down a pint in 5 minutes, but you can't drink a pint of water.
Yeah. Because I do think with alcohol, there isn't that sort of stigma that it's all that bad. Whereas if we sat outside your house now, just talking on the doorstep, with a can of beer drinking in our hands, people probably walk past and be like, oh, yeah, lads. Whereas if we was at your front door smoking heroin or something, there'd be a completely different reaction, wouldn't there?
Yeah, 100%.
Completely different reaction.
And I feel like that's every don't matter the addiction, it's all under one bubble.
That's it, yeah.
And it don't matter how heavy you are into it, you're in that bubble.
Yeah.
Whether you like to believe it or not, you're in that bubble. And some people, they can control it. And some people, they're fine, and hats off to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. So I can't. But it took me many, many a year to kind of figure that out. But I'm glad I did. I'm very glad I did, because I don't know what position I'd be in right now, two and a half years on, if I was still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
If I was still that Andrew. I mean, I'm still that Andrew. I'm just a better version of myself.
Mm-hmm. Because when you were talking about functional alcoholics as well, I think they're a lot more common than we actually realise, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
I know when you said it, I won't say her name, but the woman I used to work with, she was, I think, a functional alcoholic. She was good at, I work in children's homes.
Yeah.
She was good at her job. She was driving kids around and everything else, but then I clicked a little bit after. Again, growing up around alcoholics. She always had one of them sort of 1.5 litre bottles of Volvic water, but it was always squash in there, and it was never full.
Yeah.
Never full. So I kind of, and again, people sort of say spirits don't smell. Yeah. I think they do smell.
Yeah,
you can smell them.
Yeah.
And I smelled some at once, and I thought, no, obviously not. Of course not. And then it was a case of, I don't know, again, growing up around alcoholics, I suppose you're a bit more aware. And I thought, one, I can smell it, and then two, I just kind of, people's movement changes and whatnot. And I thought to myself, is she drinking? And I thought, I can't just be chucking them allegations around and accusations.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought, no, maybe not. In the end, she was on the day and she was drunk, and I got called into work being on call, and I had to go and challenge her about the drinking, and there was all a big sort of mess around it. But I thought to myself, actually, because then people were saying after, oh, she's bad, she's this, she's that, and I thought to myself, and I said it to the staff at the time, so I said, no, actually, she must be in a bad place and must have a problem to be wanting to come to work to have to feel like she still has to drink.
Yeah.
So I sort of said,
some people are crying out for help and you don't even know it. Yeah. I work in supermarkets, so I see a lot of the same people buying a lot of the same drink and stuff, and you can just tell them straight away. I can tell people straight, but the thing is, they'll come up with an excuse. There'll be an excuse, and that's kind of how the function addict works. There's an excuse. There's an excuse. There's a big event, or listen, if you have a problem, you have a problem, but that's your problem. If you don't want help for it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But also at the same point in time, if you want my advice, you got to be prepared to listen to my advice, and you're not going to like what I'm going to tell you. And that's the thing. You're not going to like what I want to tell you. I do a lot of running and stuff like that, and people go, I wish I could do that. That's the thing that gets me. I wish. No, you can.
Yes.
You can. Stop wishing. You can. You just don't want to.
Yeah. And make that effort.
It's your mindset.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned since I've given up drinking. My mindset is everything. Mm-hmm. They were, I wish I had your motivation. Motivation is 1%. The other 99 is discipline.
Yes.
Having the discipline to do it. You say I motivate you. I don't motivate you. You're motivated by what I do.
Yes.
That's a difference, And a lot of people, well, if I didn't have this, okay. So how many hours a day do you spend scrolling through your phone? How many hours a day you sat there watching pointless TV?
Yeah.
If you invest half an hour, 4 days a week, an hour, so 4 hours a week, for example, in yourself, you will see that change.
Yes. 1,000,000%.
Yeah. But you've got to be prepared to put yourself through a lot of pain. But pain, a quote I love going by is, pain will leave you when it's done teaching you. So I feel like with my drinking and stuff, I was putting myself through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, I can now look back and go, you know what? I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from the pain I was going through. And that's important. Your pen's run out, isn't it?
Yeah. Never mind.
And that's like me with my running. So I don't want to go out and do it sometimes, and I'm in pain, I'm aching, but it means I've still got some lessons to learn.
Yeah. How far, when you go for your runs, what do you generally do?
Depends.
Distance?
I'm running 100k a month at the minute.
Which is really good, isn't it?
Like 65 miles a month. I've ran like 450 miles this year so far.
Fucking ass. Really good.
I'm doing it for Northamptonshire Mind, so a charity for mental health and stuff like that, which is important. I only started running really properly a couple of years ago. I've done 2 half marathons since then, maybe 3.
Nice.
I've done some tough mudders. I've done some 5Ks.
I've done tough mudders.
Yeah. So I've done a lot. But for me, it's sorting my head out. It's getting my head in the right place. I take ice tubs every day now. I've been doing that for about 3 months. Yeah. But again, that gives you a 4 to 6 hour endorphin hit.
Yeah.
So the hit you get off that is the biggest dopamine hit you're going to get.
Yeah.
And this is where people don't realize. You exercise, you're naturally going to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
The dopamines and endorphins that you're releasing, the good chemicals in your body, and that's what it's about. You're taking a drug, like, for example, if you're drinking and then doing the packet, it creates a chemical reaction called cocaephyline, right? And cocaephyline is basically it messes with your gut and your mind, because a lot of your gut health is to do with your mind. They are connected in one way. And there's been there was a podcast I was listening to, and it was about a mum whose son had been out on it and then taking his own life, and it causes reaction so bad that it wants you to kind of take your own life.
Yeah, okay.
But people don't, at the time, you don't think like that. You think, oh, I'm superhuman. I can do one bad trip.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, game over.
That's it. Okay, I'm out here exercising and I'm doing like that. And yeah, I'm putting my body under pressure, but it feels good because of it.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm chasing that high. I'm getting that high now, but I'm doing it in a better way.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Again, I'm short, sort of stocky and chubby sort of fella. But then, so I'm not sort of built for running as such. But then when I run, or when I go from a periods of running, I kind of really quite, I'm on it for a month, I'm off it for 2. I'm on it for a month, I'm off it for 2. But then when I'm running, oh my God, it's so good for my mind mentally. Whereas I got my own business and I kind of think, right, business is struggling, I'm just going to knock it on the head, I can't be arsed, and this, that, and the podcast, work and life. And as soon as I start running, after 5 minutes, I'm thinking, no, business ideas, I'm going to be a better dad, better sort of, partner, this, that, the other. I'm going to start doing this at work and make myself more efficient. And I've only been running 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll only do like 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah.
But then I finish and I kind of think, so refreshed. And then I'm dripping a sweat and whatnot. And then I need a shower.
Yeah.
I feel clean.
Yeah.
I feel sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? So you kind of refreshed and a little bit like rebooted. Yeah. And it's 100%. So good for you. I would definitely recommend it.
I would say to people, your slow runs are better than your run where you're sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah.
If and you just get out there. Like, you don't have to spend money to exercise.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for a gym. You don't have to do, even going out and walking, having that time, put your headphones on, listen to a podcast, whatever it may be, preferably this podcast, people.
Absolutely.
And going out and just being one in nature, having your time, finding yourself, being spiritual with yourself, opening up, just open up your mind, open up your mind and let your mind is fantastic, and don't give up on yourself. Like when times are getting hard, or a lot of people it's like the dry Januaries or the sober Octobers. Why are you doing it for a month?
Yeah.
Tom Holland's a prime example, the guy that plays Spider-Man. He's a prime example. Yeah. He was drinking too much and he did dry January once, and then he thought, well, I've done a month, I'll do another month. And then after that month, he never drank again. Yeah. And that's what I don't get. But the thing is, the whole time about this dry January, sober October is you're looking forward to the end of the month. You're looking forward to, I can't wait till February. I can have a drink. Or I can't wait till I can have a drink. Well, you're not really enjoying it then, are you? Yeah. You're not thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I've had a month. How do I feel? How do I feel in myself? How do I look? And you're not looking at the positive. You're looking at the negatives. And that's the unfortunate thing. That's why a lot of, and I did a video on it yesterday, giving up drinking and starting running have very much similarities, because the first time you go out running, or the first day you're giving up drinking, or first week, it's hard. Like you kind of plodding along, you think, why am I doing it? What's the point? What's it going to get me? Then you kind of get to a couple of weeks and you're like, well, wait a minute, the running's doing me good. I'm not drinking now. I'm feeling better in myself.
My body's looking better.
Yeah, and I feel that's a big thing. It's the way people look and the way people come across. If you're happy the way you look, you're happy. Yeah. If you're happy doing what you're doing, then you're happy. But sometimes you have to look yourself in the mirror and go, am I really happy? Yeah. Am I really happy doing what I'm doing in life? Am I really happy? Am I where I want to be? Where what am I doing? Like that wake up call comes to everyone, and what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, definitely. So kind of take us back to sort of, where was, if you want to call it your moment of clarity, or kind of where the sort of the point was. I know you sort of said when you kind of look yourself in the mirror and the missus was a bit sort of down on you. What was that kind of like to sort of, we sort of thought, nah, I've had enough of this.
I kind of was like, you know what? I need to do it. I need to do it. I'm 30. This was just before my 33rd birthday. And I was like, I need to do it. Like, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. It's like, they say like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and it's never going to happen. And I kind of was like, when the wife messaged back, I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do it. And I don't think the first day I was 100% committed. It was one of those, right, I need to sort it out. Right, cool. I'm going to say I'm going to stop it. I'm going to say I'm going to stop it. Yeah, half. Like, I've kind of 50% believed in myself and 50% didn't. I kind of was like, am I really going to do it? Am I really prepared to give up what I know, essentially, and kind of press that big red button? And I pressed it. And I didn't know what was going to happen.
Because also it can be like a lot of comfort for people, isn't it? It's because it's what I know. When I feel a bit shitty or a bit pissed off, I'll have a beer.
Yeah. And
when I feel happy, I'll have a beer.
Yeah. And the thing is, you don't need any excuse. You just do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, right, I'm in the unknown now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm treading water with the great white sharks as such, you know. Like, I don't know which way I'm going to go. You know, I'm in the middle. I need to veer to the left, but I'm still thinking about the right kind of thing.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
How's that going to affect my social life? Am I still going to have fun at parties? Am I still going to be the same guy I was? You know, there's so many thoughts that go through your head. And I think the first week, you're like, all right, I've done a week. Like, you know, and then you think to yourself, okay, that's not too bad. Then you do a couple of weeks and you're like, okay. And then you're like, maybe I can control it. And then you do get that thought of, maybe I've controlled it now. Maybe I've aced it. I've done it 2 weeks. I've aced it. I can definitely go back and get back on it. I can do it. I didn't. But, and then I thought, okay. And then I'd tell everyone. So I'd get excited. Oh, I'm 7 days or I'm 10 days. And the thing is, people say, oh, a few people would say online is, are you counting days so you know when you can have your next drink? And if you want to count the days, then count the days. There's no one to tell you in your journey, in your healing journey, what you can or can't do. Yeah,
because it's your journey, isn't it?
It's your journey and you own it.
Yeah.
So I was counting the days and then like I was like, oh, I got to 100 days. Like, well, I got to 100 days. Like that's a big thing for me. Especially when realistically for what, 16 to so nearly best part of 18 years of my life, realistically, I was drink played a part in it.
Yeah.
Whether it be a small amount or as it got worse down the line, 18 years is a big chunk of your life.
Yeah.
Where you're in drink, you're going to parties, you're doing this. And then I slowly started kind of liking myself and kind of was like, wow, I'm actually doing this.
Yeah.
Then you turn to TikTok and you realize that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And there's so many people out there that actually are sober.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, I'm not alone here.
Yeah.
And you post your first sober video and then you get that reaction and you get the support and you're like, okay. I used to do lives and stuff. And the problem with my lives I used to do on TikTok were great, but I kind of was planning my week around them.
Yeah.
So it was kind of becoming, right, I've got to do this at this time. I've got to do this at this time. I've got to do it. And then that kind of gets you in a mindset of, whoa, stop, slow down.
Yeah, slow down.
Because once you commit to these people, you feel like you're taking them all on with you. And you're not.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I used to do when I used to drink. I used to think, I can take your problems. I'll solve the world problems.
Yeah.
I'll solve world peace. Do you know what I mean? And I'll sort everything out. And I was kind of finding myself doing that again. And I was like, whoa, this might lead down the road that you don't want to go.
Yeah.
So I took my step back from my lives. This time last year, I was like, no, I'm not going to commit to doing this many lives. I'm not going to commit to, I'm going to still post every day.
Yeah.
But I don't want to commit and fall back in that trap. So that was, like I say, that 26th of February was 2023 was my last drink. Within that time, I've got married, stayed sober the whole day.
Yeah, nice.
Even when the barman passed me an alcoholic drink, whether it was a mistake or not, I kind of was like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
My mum and dad were like, I'm proud of you. Like, I thought you'd have one because of your wedding day.
Yeah, yeah.
But my mum comes to me the next day and went, I'm so proud of you. And that kind of made it like, that hits
bit more
home,
special,
man. It hits home. My wife has been my absolute rock through this whole thing. She is my biggest fan. She's my biggest supporter. And just keeps pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. So yeah, like in that time I got married, I climbed Snowdon.
Nice.
I went on an all-inclusive holiday, still not tempted to drink at all.
Yeah.
You know, what else have I done? I've climbed in the Lake District. I've started running. I post every day. Obviously I'm doing the podcast now. I feel like I'm becoming a little bit of an advocate for other people, for sobriety and for mental health and stuff like that. So life just seems to get better. Don't get me wrong, it still has its bad moments, right?
Yeah.
And it still has moments where it was funny. I did a half marathon back in March and I beat my PB. I did it in 1 hour and 40 minutes. I was buzzing. And for a second, I don't know why it happened. Never done it before. I thought, I'm going to have a beer now.
Yeah.
Like, I just literally thought, I'm going to have a beer
Old
now.
habits die hard sometimes, don't they?
And then I was like, wait a minute. Nah, what are you on about?
Yeah.
I've had a couple of moments where I've been triggered. The wife was sorting out the alcohol cupboard. Because there's alcohol in my house, people. If I really wanted to, I could down a bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
I won't, but it's there. And she was sorting it out and getting rid of some stuff that went out of date or whatever. And I come home from work and went, you're going to have to get rid of that now. Like, I literally felt so triggered And that was my biggest trigger moment. And she was like, no, I knew she hadn't done it on purpose and stuff like that.
Of course.
It was just, she was going to get round to it. She'd put it there, and then obviously I'd come back from work. So straight away she got rid of it.
Yeah.
And that was just a really weird feeling. Like, it was because it was a lager I used to drink quite a lot of and stuff. And I saw it and instantly I thought, no. But then you prove that I have got that willpower.
I was about to say, because I believe in sort of timing and things like that, you know, did you mean to sort of, was it meant for you to, for example, wherever you come from, work or wherever it was, you missing sorting out the cupboards, and then was it meant for that particular alcohol to be there for you to walk in and see it and then sort of say, no, get rid of it?
I think so. I believe in things happen for a reason.
Yeah, same.
I believe in numbers. I believe in time. I believe in meditation. That's kind of what's got me through. But yeah, definitely. I believe there's moments in time where you're still going to get tested. Yeah. So it could be tomorrow. It could be 6 months. It could be 5 years down the line. I know I'm going to be tested again. And I know that. And I know that's facts. And, you know, when I do go to the pub, I sniff my drinks, I check the bottle. Because, look, no one would purposely give someone not drinking, but it's so easy with the bottles being the same and stuff like this to go get confused.
Mistakes can happen,
Another one, Christmas Eve, just gone at the bar, getting my 0 down the pub, and someone was having a few shots. And I was, oh, what's that? Just out of curiosity. They were like, it's this, do you want one? No, I'm good. Yeah. You know, so to be able to say it's right there in front of me, being gifted to me, and to say no, it's having that willpower, it's having self-control and self-discipline. Yeah. You know, it's doing things that you know you want to do when you want to do, even when you don't want to do it. Yeah. And that's what it's about. And that's everything in me. Yeah. And I feel like since I've gone sober, I haven't been diagnosed with it. So people, whatever, you can say what you want, but I've got a mild form of ADHD. And I've only figured that out since I've stopped drinking. But a lot of addicts and recovering addicts and stuff like that find out they do have ADHD. That's why they were drinking or doing whatever they were in the first place. Because it's having, like, I could be doing, for example, the hoovering and then think the bed needs to get fixed. So I'll stop hoovering and I'll go fix the bed. Or then I'll think, oh, then the bathroom needs cleaning. So I'll stop doing that and I'll move to the next task. And my wife living with me sometimes can be a nightmare.
She was following you around, finishing off the jobs.
Yeah, pretty much. She's behind me finishing off my jobs, doing what I'm supposed to do. So you do find out a lot about yourself. And how strong-willed you can be and how determined you can be and how much self-control you actually do have. Yeah, because I'd sort of say as well, what you're explaining is kind of like sort of true or sort of real sobriety, whereas you weren't sort of saying, we can never have any alcohol in the house. I can never walk into a pub again. I gotta keep all that shit away from me, just in case. We're actually you're sort of saying, I can go to a pub and have a 0 beer. I can have, you know, beers in the fridge for the missus or whoever visitors come round, or whatever you got in your cupboard, and it's there. And it's kind of, then now it kind of shows you are actually in control, rather than sort of making it just sort of disappear. But just in case, if I don't know, I had a bottle of beer fell out my pocket, you'd be like, oh my God. You'd be like, oh yeah, your thing fell out your pocket. Don't put it away. And then you're in control. It doesn't bother me. And a lot of people kind of, the question you get asked straight away when you say I'm sober, were you an alcoholic then? That's the label you get straight away. People don't get it. They don't understand why you're doing it. They don't understand why you want to give it up. They don't get it, because when something controls you that much and you're not in control of it, that's when it's time to walk away from it. You know, and it was controlling me beyond belief. That's when I went, nah, done. See you later. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out. Andrew out. Had my time. Had my fun. I'll talk about it still. Like if I got invited on a night out with my mates and they're like, do you want to come out? Don't you know, step stone around me. I'll come out, I have a good time. I might not stay out as late as you guys. I might stay out, you know, 3-4 hours and then go, look guys, enjoy your night. I've had enough, I'm gone. But you got to respect that about people. Of course. Don't hide it. Don't think, oh, this person used to drink or that person used to drink. So what? Because they don't want you to treat them like that. They don't want you to treat like a baby. You're still a person. They don't want to think, oh, I'm having this party, or quickly hide all the alcohol, because they don't want that. They want you still to have fun and enjoy yourself, because they're having more. I'd say more, like someone said it to my wedding. They went, wow, man, you're up there, you're dancing all night, you're doing this, you're doing that. I had more fun not drinking, because at events you remember the whole thing now. You remember what went down from first minute to last minute. Like, you remember everyone's face. You remember all the photos. And you wake up in the morning and everyone says, oh, and you're like, right, I'm going for a run. Cool, let's go. And I am that annoying person now. Like, up at 7. Well, usually I'm up at 5 most days, even when I'm not at work, because I'm out running and stuff like that. And I'm like, come on. And sometimes my missus looks at me and went, I'm done with your positive bullshit today. Like, I just want
a miserable day.
Yeah. I want to be miserable. Let me be, and you've got to respect that as well.
Yeah, of course.
You've got to respect that, you know.
Yeah.
But also, what's probably helped is my wife doesn't drink, very, very rarely drinks as well.
Yeah.
Which has kind of helped. She bakes a lot, so she does use alcohol sometimes when she's cooking or whatever. But again, don't bother me.
Yeah.
It is what it is, you know.
And that's kind of just really massive kudos and kind of well done and congratulations or whatever you want to call it to you, really.
Yeah.
Because again, I think that's really impressive that it can be about.
Yeah.
And whereas let's say my mum, as when I was growing up, she was an alcoholic. It couldn't be about.
Yeah.
Like she was always an alcoholic. So then, if it was there, it wouldn't be there because she would have drank it anyway.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Whereas, I think for you, it takes real strength to say, yeah, that's a beer over there. Well, that's a glass of wine. Yeah, sweet. Just go and put it away.
Because what I do is, I remember what it did to me. So like, if I'm getting like, so say for example, I know events coming up, I have to kind of take myself away for 10 minutes and have that mental meditation. And kind of put myself in that. It's like a zone. I put myself in. Look, you know what you're doing. I look at myself and say, you're in control of this. You're in control of this. Just because other people want to do it, that's their choice. And you need to respect that. And then I go about the event. I have a good time. You know, I party till midnight and then I go home.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still good. And that's what I still like, that I can still, don't get me wrong, I like spending time in my own company now. Yeah. And that's one thing you have to learn. When you go sober, you have to be prepared to go lonely.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that all your positive thoughts that you used to push to right at the back of your head, and your negative ones are at the front where they switch roles.
Yeah.
So all these thoughts coming through, you're thinking, wow, what the hell am I thinking this for? What am I thinking? They're all the thoughts that you've blocked out for so long.
Yeah, you kind of suppressed them.
You've suppressed them with alcohol, that now they're coming to the forefront of your mind, and you're getting these ideas and you're getting these goals, and you're like, let's roll with it. Like another, for example, of me being kind of off the cuff was, I come home one day from work and I said to the wife, you got a dress? She went, where? I went, I've signed up to white collar boxing. So I hadn't even told her. I just go ahead and do it, you know, off the cuff. I want to do this, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm setting myself a big challenge next year, and I might as well announce it now. I'm going to be walking from Corby to the top of Ben Nevis.
Really?
It's going to take me 10 days. I'm going to be camping out along the way.
Yeah.
For like a men's mental health and for recovery houses and stuff like that. There's not enough of them about. So I kind of want to kind of do a big challenge as well to say, look, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the addicted you probably wouldn't even thought, even half sort of was not be open to the idea. Yeah. But now, look at you now, you've got the strength to one, think about it, and then more importantly, sort of push through and kind of say, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Well, things like that, send me links and that.
Yeah.
I'll share it and put it out there again. Fine. It's positive.
Yeah.
We got to be sharing that.
100%. And I feel like that's positivity breeds positivity.
Massively.
So, and you're going to get, this is what people understand, you're going to get the keyboard warriors, you're going to get the negative Nancy's, you're going to get them people that are going to want to chomp at you and try and cut you down like a tree to remind you of who you were. Okay, cool. You can remind me of who I was, but that's who I was then. Yeah. This is who I am now. Yeah. That's what you need to remember. If someone's going to come at you and they're going to bring that negativity and that, just walk away. You don't need to listen to them. You don't need that vibe in your life. You know, your vibe attracts your tribe, and I believe that.
Oh yeah, I like that.
You know, and that's a massive thing. So if you're giving off this good energy and this positivity and stuff like that, you're just going to attract it. You know? But then you're going to be able to deal with certain situations when they come your way in certain ways, you know? Yeah.
I like that. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Yeah, I love that. But then also, I think with the negative Nellies, kind of, well, they always get haters and the keyboard warriors and whatever else. I went for a stage where, so again, got this podcast, I work full time, and I got my own business. Yeah. I went for a stage of thinking, why aren't friends and family and work colleagues and everything else sharing my stuff on Facebook and Instagram and all that? And I thought, actually, no, because it's not their thing, it's my thing.
It's your thing,
If I want to push it, I've got to push it. Yeah. And then if a couple do share it, amazing. Yeah. Be really grateful. But actually, if you don't, it's nothing on you. It's just a case of I'm on my journey. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to hold that against you. It's just I'm pushing and doing my thing. But for a little bit, I did sort of struggle and thinking, why are you not sharing this? Why?
And you do. Yeah, you look at, and that's I used to kind of, my thing, I've learned a lot about myself because I was talking to a friend yesterday because I did some content for quite a Flavor Trader, which is quite a big company within Northamptonshire. And they were like, wow, you're on my FYP, wow, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah. And then I said, obviously I was doing a podcast today, and they were like, oh, it's finally coming to, I said, listen, one thing you must learn about this game is patience.
Yes.
Patience ain't going to happen over the night. Some people, they got lucky. They put a video up or they put something on socials and bang, they got 100,000 views in the algorithm. But you have to be prepared to put in the behind the scenes, because this is what people don't see. Like some people you think made it have taken 10, 15 years to get where they need to be. Consistency, patience and discipline are things that you kind of need to have to turn up in this game, you know?
Absolutely.
If this reaches 5 people and one of them takes something good out of it and walks away from it, then I've done my job.
Job done.
That's all that matters.
That's it. Because even in terms of this podcast, in my head, I'm thinking this is at least a minimum of a 2-year job for me to start getting paid from it, or kind of when I'm feeling satisfied where I've interviewed so many people. Then my idea is for me to tell my story. But again, I think it's about your journey as well. Because let's say this takes me 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's something that long because it was supposed to.
Exactly.
It was meant to be that way.
It will happen when it happens.
Just
understand that it will happen when it happens, and when it's meant to be, it will meant to be, and when it's your time, it's your time. And just keep being happy in what you're doing. That's all you can do, and that's all you can do in life. Just be happy and be content. We're too busy looking at other people's or the neighbors or this, that, or the other. They've got this and they've got that, and so what? Are they actually happy? Do you know that person's happy because they got a flash car? How do you know they're not struggling to pay the finance on it? Just because they got flash clothes, how do you know they haven't got it on this? How do you know they haven't got it on that? You don't know the whole story.
Exactly.
You know. So we do get a bit of envy sometimes as humans. Of course we do. But ultimately, if you've got a roof over your head and food in your belly and stuff like that, then who cares? And as long as you're content and happy doing what you're doing, then again, who cares?
Because again, probably more so as a kid, not so much as an adult, I would look at sort of you or whoever, sort of like, oh, he's wearing the new trainers, he's got this tracksuit on, or driving this car. And actually I thought, I changed my mindset and sort of thought, no, actually, rather than thinking about what I haven't got, let me appreciate what I have got. Yes, actually, my trainers don't cost as much as yours, but actually, I've got trainers on, and these are comfortable, and they're going to last, and they're solid, and they're still Nike or whatever it is that I wanted, or the car that I've got. It's not a Ferrari or this, but actually, it's a reliable, solid car. It's a good car, and things like that. And then when I sort of switch that, I think I'll become a little less judgmental, but also sort of comfortable and secure in myself.
100%.
So I thought, we need to not focus on the outside stuff and actually make it more internal.
100%. Because ultimately, those people don't pay your bills. Those people don't pay your nice holiday a year. Those people don't have what you have, you know. And ultimately, happiness and joy is, you know, if you've got that and love in your life, then who cares?
I just said to my brother a lot of things about things that acts. I think we're really close with my brother. We'll talk every day on the phone. But then we're kind of in ourselves, we're quite different in a way where I think I don't care what people think about me anymore. Whereas I think he does. And I sort of said, I heard a quote where it said, there's 2 people in this world, someone who carries a £1,000 bag with fuck all in it, and someone who carries a plastic bag with £1,000 in it. And I sort of thought, well, I actually want to be, and I think I am more so, the person with the plastic bag with £1,000 in it, rather than the
£1,000 bag with nothing in it. 100%. 110%.
I don't care what you think, whether you like my handbag or not, or whatever it is, the clothes that I wear, doesn't matter. They're my clothes. And that's what's important. I don't care what you think of me. Because the people that I care, the people that care about me the most, their judgment matters. Your judgment doesn't. And that's what I was about to sort of say, to be fair, is it's kind of more, if you're judging me, then it's probably more of a kind of a show on you.
100%.
Isn't it? Rather than accepting me for who I am and vice versa. Actually, if I'm judging you, what you doing wearing them white socks, kind of thing. No, actually, no. That says more about me.
100%. Like, as I've got older as well, especially since I've gone sober, I'm like, I don't care. I'm happy, I'm content, and I'm enjoying my life now. Ultimately, it don't turn up in your coffin. So if you're gonna, you know, do you want to live life and say I've made memories and I've done this or I've done that, or do you want to say, well, I worked all the hours under the sun? But did you spend time with your kids? Did you have fun? Did you have holidays? Did you have the, you know? I know which one I'd rather be at the end of the day. I'd rather be happy and content with not a lot than unhappy and not enjoying life with a lot.
Definitely. So then, okay, so going back to your kind of addiction and stuff, when you kind of was going through addiction and then you kind of into your sobriety, Did this kind of mess with your mental health and whatnot?
I think my mental health got a lot better.
Yeah.
It like the crippling anxiety, this, that, and the other, just kind of, I could control a lot more of my thoughts. Like I had to learn how to deal with them in different ways. I couldn't just go out and hit the bottle again.
Yeah.
So I had to understand them, and it's all about understanding what triggers them, why are they happening, what events happen, and you're just breaking it down brick by bit. So basically my foundation was crumbling and it just needed to be knocked down and rebuilt.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. I knocked down, and then by brick by brick by brick, every day I was learning something different. Oh, I feel good today. I feel on top of the world today. Like my anxiety is not there today. Like or think of certain events, my anxiety would be like that, but I'm not getting it anymore.
Yeah.
And you just start feeling happy, and you know what true happiness is.
Yeah.
You're in control. You're not you're on the train, but now you're driving.
Yeah.
You're driving now. You're not a passenger. You're driving. You're in control. Like, the train's going somewhere, but you've got to find that platform you need to get off at. Are you on that platform waiting to get on the train, or you're on the train waiting to get off at your platform?
Yeah.
That's how you need to look at it,
Oh, okay, yeah, like that. Yeah. Because I suppose just that in itself, isn't it? Like you say, you're kind of then taking ownership and control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, wicked. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I think you've said some really good stuff today. So what has life taught you?
That it's not always easy.
Yeah.
That it's gonna throw curveballs at you, especially when you think like you're right. Oh, I'm on a great path, right? And I'm on a great path. Look, with the highs, you're gonna get the lows.
Yeah.
But when you hit the lows, you're gonna get the highs.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be plateau. It's never gonna be straightforward.
Yeah.
You're gonna have days. I look at it as, if I wake up and I stub my toe, right, and I'm thinking about that all day, right, that's gonna be my mood for the rest of the day, right? So, but if I wake up and I stub my toe and I think, oh, well, I stubbed my toe, your mood's going to be better. Don't let your mood reflect who you are. Don't, at the end of the day, things are going to happen. Yeah. Accidents are going to happen. Things are going to arise in your life that you're not necessarily ready for. But don't look them necessarily as a negative. Look them as just as a learning curve.
And moments, aren't they?
Moments in time will teach you who you want to be and where you want to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what life has taught me. Definitely a lot of it comes down to not giving up drinking. I've learned a lot in the last 2 and a bit years about life in general. I always used to think if something happens, the world's against me, I'd be angry at it. Whereas I'm like, okay, this is a lesson. This is another lesson. This is another lesson. Just because you're having a bad start of the day doesn't mean you can't have a good end of the day.
Yeah.
That's another thing I've learned, just because, say, for example, your car goes in, or something happens to your car, or something happens to your house, or, you need to, okay, cool. It's sound. Life, it doesn't define you, or that moment in time isn't going to define your life. Just because you're not where you want to be right now doesn't mean you can't get there.
Yes.
You're just on that path of success. Like, everyone likes the view from the top of the mountain, but not everyone's prepared to climb up there to get there.
Yeah.
And it's
so true.
And a lot of people want it now. It's just the world we live in. Why hasn't this happened? Why is this not working? Why is this person getting this? Why are they getting all the good luck? Why are they getting that? Doesn't matter about them.
Yeah, that's it. You're right, though. People want that quick satisfaction.
Yeah. They want quick results, but quick results are exactly what they are. They're quick fixes. They are essentially putting a plaster over a crack in your wall. You're not fixing it. You're just covering it up for the time being. But eventually that plaster's coming off the wall. You need to sand it back. You need to fill it, and you need to plaster over it properly, then paint it. And once you've done that, then happy days.
Yeah.
You can't plaster over a crack. You need to do it properly. You need to, and that's the thing. And yes, it might take a couple of extra hours or a couple of extra months or whatever. But ultimately, you would have done it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice. So then, what has been the best advice you have been given? Not that you've learned kind of through life, but what's the best advice you have been given? Someone said to you, whether in your sobriety, in your addiction, in your childhood.
Best advice I've ever been given. Nothing works like hard work.
Yes, so true.
So
true.
And you don't necessarily, it doesn't have to be in your work environment or whatever. It's true. Nothing works like hard work. If you put in the work, you're going to seek the benefit eventually.
Yeah.
But you've got to be prepared to put in that work in the first place to get where you want to be.
Yeah. So again, me and my brother, we have this argument. Kind of, he sort of says talent's better than hard work, and I sort of said no. I said
hard work always beats talent.
When talent don't work, absolutely. And I said this to him, and it kind of, again, to be fair, we're both little men. I'm sort of the short, sort of chubby, stocky one. He's slim, he's ripped up and kind of chiseled. But then I sort of said, you've kind of not always necessarily worked for that because you're just naturally slim, kind of thing. And then we'd have this sort of, again, brotherly banter. Yeah. But again, in my head, hard work.
Yeah. Hard work all the time.
Yeah. Also, I think when you're working hard, you're always improving.
Yeah, 100%.
Always improving.
And always be open as well. Always have an open mind.
Yeah.
Don't think, because you're a CEO or you're a manager, you've made it. Don't think like that. Always remember where you come from. Always stay humble to yourself. Yeah. And just put in the work.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what others are doing around you. Just do what you need to do.
Yeah. Because at least then the evidence is there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going for this shit time again. Yeah. But I've already put the work in, so I know I can do it.
Precisely.
I know I can do it. Oh, yeah, I love that. Advice for young people or people struggling? So now you could be something like even, not necessarily something you've been told, but then something you've even learned through life.
Advice for young people. Don't be afraid to talk about your feelings.
Yeah, massive one.
Don't get drawn in by peer pressure. Just because someone else is doing something, and someone might laugh at you, let them laugh at you. Because, whoever laughs first, last.
Yeah.
100%. Keep doing what you want to do. Don't let anyone tell you can't achieve anything. Even in the word impossible is the word possible.
Yes.
Remember that. Your dreams are there to be chased, to chase them.
Yeah.
And don't let anyone take your dreams away from you. Surround yourselves with the right people. Find your crew and don't let them go. And just give time to yourself. Having time to yourself and invest in yourself. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you're on your own journey. No one else decides your destiny for you.
Yeah. So love that. So true. And just as you said that, when you said impossible, the word possible is in it. And I thought, actually, break it up. It says I'm possible.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna write that down.
I'm
gonna put that on next podcast.
Don't be following the crowd, because ultimately, be a shepherd, not a sheep.
Yes. And ultimately, all you can do is be you. Yeah, just be yourself.
People don't like it. Well, that's their problem.
Yeah.
They live with it, not you.
What's your greatest achievement?
Probably going sober.
Yeah.
Not. I've got a few I wouldn't say I have a greatest achievement.
Yeah.
I have many achievements that are on the same level. Going sober one. Obviously, my 3 children.
Yeah.
That's a massive achievement.
Yeah, of course.
Running my first half marathon.
Yeah.
Climbing Snowdon. There's so many on my list, and just generally kind of help people. Being on this podcast, which has always been kind of something I've wanted to do, go on a podcast or start my own podcast, which is a good thing. And just generally being a good person. Yeah,
love that. Yeah. Again, it's so good. Again, I think I've kind of got a similar goal in terms of I just want to be the best man and person I can be, and so then there's kind of no end goal.
Yeah,
it's a case of today sitting here with you, you said some things, and I'm going to go back and look at this, and I always rewatch the podcast back, and then you've kind of put a bit of percentage in me to grow, because then there's things that I'm going to take from this podcast.
Yeah.
So again, just by me having these conversations, I'm growing. What's your favorite? You've said quite a few things like this, but then, which at least what I'm going to take from the podcast, but then what's your favorite quote or saying?
Dream it, believe it, achieve it.
Yeah. Nice. It's kind of in my head. It's a simple one, but it's just actually it's a solid one. Yeah.
And then another one I've always gone by is today's a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Yes. Yeah. I only seen that probably about within the last year or two, and I thought, it's actually, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And then 3 fundamentals you live by?
What do you mean, fundamentals?
So like sort of 3 kind of attributes or 3 sort of morals or principles you live by?
Put your self-care.
Yeah.
It's not being selfish, self-care. Have that time to invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Help others that want to be helped.
Yeah.
And ultimately, just be happy.
Yeah.
Just be the best version of yourself that you can be, whether you're a parent, whether you're married, whether you're single. Just show up every day and be the best version of yourself you can be. Yeah,
nice. So do this thing now. Well, I do this thing where I'll ask the guest to ask a question for the next guest.
Yeah.
So then the question for the last, I think might have been Patrick, asked was, what was the reason for you doing the podcast?
To talk about my healing journey.
Yeah.
Help. If I can help one person by doing this podcast, I think is a great podcast. I think it's a fantastic idea. And I feel like everyone has their own story to tell. And within that story, you're creating a book.
Yeah.
You know, these are mini chapters within your story that's still yet to be written.
Yes. So true. And then do you have a question for the next guest?
Do I have a question for the next guest?
It can be absolutely anything.
If you was to... This is a tough one, isn't it? You put me on the spot. If I have a question for the next guest. If you could go back in time and change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Oh, I like that.
Doesn't have to be physical or whatever, but if you could change one moment in time, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a good question, that is. So then I always put the question to the guest as well. Yeah. So if you could go back in time and change something, what would it be?
Just try harder when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I regret anything I did when I had a wicked childhood. You know, I was a child. I lived it. But just to try that a little bit harder and not make certain mistakes I did make.
Yeah. I think that I can definitely relate to that. I look back and sort of think, I should have sort of put myself around some other people than some of the people that I did. I should have concentrated more at school, or kind of things like I should have learned more from different people. I wish I had the mindset and the business mindset and the kind of maybe the little bit of discipline and motivation to do things, or be brave like I do now.
I say that, but would I be where I am now? Would I be with my wife? Would I have my children? You know,
which is
it's always pros and cons.
Yeah,
always pros and cons.
And that comes back to, isn't it? What's happened has happened for a reason.
Precisely. But just remember, you are where you're meant to be at this period in time, because that's where you're placed yourself. If you want to do something, then you have to be prepared to change. You know, choices, decisions, changes.
Yeah.
No one's changing you. You have to change yourself.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. And I think I'd just like to finish up on kind of, well done to you. Thanks for having me in your home. I can't say to you, you've done the sobriety the right way or the wrong way. Actually, you've done it your way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's actually quite refreshing to say. And that would help other people when you sort of said, every Friday, I'd wait for the podcast. What was it called again?
Menace to Sobriety.
Menace to Sobriety, that's it. It kind of gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And again, if that's your way, that's the best way for you, isn't it?
100%.
If you want to kind of give yourself a shout out in terms of your socials and whatnot.
So I am on, I'll get it out now, it's just easier. I am on Instagram, which is sober_running_90. I have a TikTok channel, and it's Andrews_sober_journey. And I have YouTube as well, which is, I'll tell you in a second, which is dad_life_sober. So yeah, if you want to follow me. I do honest content, I do real content, I do sobriety content, I do discipline content, I do my running. I just do me, and you'll get me for who I am, and that's who it's about.
Yeah, lovely. Appreciate that, brother. Nice one.
Cheers.
Yeah.